Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English with Sarah and James, the podcast that helps you take your English to the next level. We're so glad you could join us today.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back. Today, we're diving into a topic that many of you have asked about, and one that is both exciting and a little scary: traveling solo.
That's right. Going on an adventure by yourself can be one of the most rewarding experiences. But it can also feel a bit daunting, especially if you're worried about the language barrier. So in this episode, we're going to equip you with some essential English phrases for traveling alone.
We'll cover everything from finding your way around a new city to ordering food and asking for help. Our goal is to give you the key phrases that will make you feel confident, safe, and ready to explore. Let's imagine you've just stepped off the plane.
Exactly. So, you've collected your luggage, you're in the arrivals hall, and the first thing you need to do is get to your hotel or apartment. A really polite and effective way to ask for directions is, "Could you tell me the best way to get to Market Street?"
That's a perfect opener. If you're thinking about using public transport, you could be more direct. For example, you could approach the information desk and ask, "Does this train go to the city center?" Or, "Which bus should I take for the National Museum?" Sometimes getting straight to the point is most efficient.
That's a great point, James. Clarity is key. Now, let's talk about another solo travel challenge: dining alone. For some people, this feels awkward, but once you're there, a simple phrase is all you need. You just walk up to the host and say, "A table for one, please."
And if the waiter comes over immediately, but you haven't decided, you can say, "Could I have a few more minutes, please?" It's much better than feeling pressured. And if you want a local experience, you can ask, "What would you recommend?" It's a great way to discover new food.
I love asking for recommendations. Okay, let's switch gears to a more serious but important topic: staying safe. What happens if you take a wrong turn and get lost?
A good phrase here is, "Excuse me, I seem to be a bit lost. Could you help me?" Using "I seem to be" is a softer, more polite way of saying "I am." It makes you sound more approachable.
That's such a useful tip. You could follow it up with, "Could you show me where I am on this map?" Or, "I'm trying to get back to the main square."
And a good piece of advice is to ask for help inside a shop or a cafe. It's generally safer than asking a random person on the street. You might also want to ask about the area. For example, "Is this neighborhood safe to walk around at night?" It's a very practical question.
Definitely. All these phrases are about helping you get your bearings when you first arrive in a new place.
That's a great expression, Sarah. What exactly do you mean by "get your bearings"?
It means to figure out your position or to become familiar with a new situation. So when you arrive in a new city, you need to find your hotel and look at a map. You need to get your bearings.
I like that. It's a perfect way to describe that initial feeling of figuring things out. Having these phrases really helps you do that confidently.
Okay, that was a lot of useful language. Let's slow down and review some of the key words and phrases we used. The first one James just highlighted was the idiom "to get your bearings."
Yes, to get your bearings. This means to figure out where you are or to become comfortable with a new environment. For example, when you start a new job, you could say, "It took me a couple of weeks to get my bearings at the new office."
That's a perfect example. Or for travel, the first day in a new country is all about getting your bearings. Let's talk about pronunciation. The stress is on the verb get and the first syllable of bearings. Listen carefully. Get your bearings. The word bearings sounds like the animal, B-E-A-R, plus ings. Bearings.
A synonym you could use is to orient yourself. For example, "I need a moment to orient myself with the map." But "get your bearings" is much more common in conversation.
Next up, let's look at a word I used in the introduction. The word is Daunting. Daunting. Daunting.
Daunting is an adjective we use to describe something that feels very big and difficult, making you feel a bit worried. Traveling solo for the first time can feel like a daunting idea.
Exactly. Or you could say the final exam was a daunting prospect. For pronunciation, pay attention to that AU sound. It's an ah sound, like in saw or law. So it's daunting. The stress is on the first syllable. Daunting.
Thinking of personal examples helps the word stick. Maybe speaking English on the phone is daunting for you. Some synonyms could be intimidating or challenging.
Our final phrase to review is a very useful one for being polite. It's the structure I seem to be, followed by an adjective or a verb. For example, I seem to be lost.
This is a great way to sound polite. It softens what you're saying. Instead of a direct statement like, I've lost my key, you can say, I seem to have lost my key. It sounds much gentler.
It really does. It's perfect for customer service situations. At a hotel reception, you could say, I seem to be having a problem with the Wi-Fi. It's a polite way to introduce a complaint. Or, I seem to have been overcharged.
Exactly. It's less confrontational. The structure is simple. I seem to be plus an adjective like lost, or I seem to have plus the past participle of a verb like forgotten or misplaced. It will make you sound very fluent and culturally aware.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've talked about some really practical phrases to help you navigate, eat, and stay safe when traveling solo. Remember, the goal is to communicate effectively and feel more confident.
That's the key. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just having a few of these phrases ready can make a huge difference. We encourage you to practice them. Say them out loud. This will help you remember them when you actually need them.
Thank you so much for listening to English with Sarah and James. We hope you feel a little more prepared for your next solo adventure. Keep practicing and stay curious.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Until then, happy learning, everyone.